If an interview asks a simple question and your answer takes 2 or 3 minutes to reach the point, you may already be losing the interview. Many candidates ramble because they're trying to be thorough. They explain background, context, every step. But interviewers are not listening for the whole story. They are listening for the structure of your answer. So today I want to show you how to stop rambling in interviews and structure your answers clearly so the interviewer can immediately understand your point. One of the most common problems candidates face in interviews is rambling. A question is asked. The candidate begins answering. They start explaining background information, adding context, adding details, and by the time they reach the main point, the interviewer has already lost the thread of the answer. This happens even to highly qualified candidates. The issue is not knowledge, the issue is structure. Interview answers work best when they follow a clear pattern that allows the interviewer to understand your point quickly. Let's start with the why rambling happens. When people explain experiences, they naturally think in chronological order. First this happens, then that happens. That structure works in storytelling. It does not work well in interviews. Interviewers are not listening for the timeline first. They are listening for the outcome. They want to know, what did you accomplish? What was your role? What result did you produce? So the first shift is simple. Start with the outcome. Instead of beginning with the full background of a situation, begin with the result or the objective. For example, imagine an interviewer asks, "Tell me about a time you solved a difficult problem at work." A rambling answer might start like, "Well, at the time our team was working on several different projects and there were a lot of moving pieces." The answer may eventually reach the point, but it takes too long. A clearer answer might begin like this. In one project, our team was facing a major delay, and I helped redesign the workflow so we could deliver on time. Now, the interviewer immediately understands the situation. From there, you can briefly explain the steps that lead to that result. This approach keeps the answer focused and structured. Another reason candidates ramble is that silence feels uncomfortable. When answering a question, many people feel pressure to keep talking. They add extra details, explanations that were never asked for. But strong interview answers do not try to fill every moment with words. They communicate the key point clearly and then pause. That pause gives the interviewer space to ask follow-up questions. It also shows that you're comfortable and confident in your answer. Let's look at a simple structure that helps prevent rambling. You can think of your answer in 3 parts. First, briefly describe the situation. Second, explain the action you took. Third, state the result. This is sometimes called the STAR method, but the key idea is simply structure. Situation, task, action, result. For example, we were behind schedule on a client project. I reorganized the workflow so tasks could run in parallel, and we delivered the project 1 week earlier than expected. That answer communicates the entire story in a clear and concise way. The interviewer can immediately understand your contribution, and if they want more detail, they can ask. Now, let's talk about another interview moment when rambling often appears. The infamous question, "Tell me about yourself." Many candidates treat this question like a life story. They start with their earliest experience. They move through every role. They describe each transition. But interviewers are not asking for your entire career history. They are asking for a structured overview that explains why you're relevant to the position. A stronger response might focus on 3 points: your current role or recent experience, the key skills you developed, and how those skills relate to the role you're applying for. That structure keeps the answer focused and relevant. The key idea across all interview questions is clarity. Interviewers are listening for signals that you can organize your thoughts and communicate effectively. Rambling makes it harder for them to see those signals. Structured answers make those signals obvious. So the next time you prepare for an interview, practice answering questions with structure rather than chronology. Start with the outcome, explain the key action, state the result, and then stop. If the interviewer wants more detail, they'll ask. That approach keeps your answers clear, concise, and much easier for interviewers to evaluate. If you found this helpful, the next episode explains how to answer "Tell me about yourself" clearly and confidently without sounding rehearsed. Because that question is often the first moment where candidates either ramble or demonstrate clear communication.